Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 66 of On the Diamond and Into the Deep. As always, I am your host, Mahal. And on today's episode, we got one topic, but it's a big one. And he's a big one indeed. Julio Rodriguez is our topic for today's episode. It's going to be a little bit shorter of an episode as it's Friday and we got stuff to do. But Julio Rodriguez. If you want to go through what he's done in his career, we can do that. If you want to go through what has he done so far this year, we can do that. If you want to go through what has his May looked like, that sounds like the most fun one to me, we can do that. But to begin with, let's just go through his 4 seasons really quickly with some very basic stats and see where he lands currently. In terms of his rookie year, 2022, he had a WRC plus of 148. In 2023, that dropped 20 to 128. Last year, it dropped to 116, and currently he has one at 116. Now, the difference is the slug. The biggest difference is the slug. Julio Rodriguez has struggled to slug since 2023, but really since 2022. He's not hitting as many home runs, he's not hitting as many doubles, and he's just not hitting as much in general. But how is he going to combat that, and why is that happening? And part of the deal with the past 2 years has been his really slow starts in April, May, and even into June. Thus far this year, Julio Rodriguez has a 116 WRC plus, as I mentioned. That is the best of his career through through 36 games. That's the best that he's been in his career during that. His other years, he's struggled. His rookie year, he struggled. He struck out a lot, and part of that was due to some poor pitches against him. And the 2 years since, he's also struggled. He's gotten off to slow starts, but since then, he's turned up the jets. The question is, in 2025, Julio Rodriguez has been already better. Does that mean we are going to get a better version and a more consistent version from now on? If you want to look at the first week of May as any sort of indicator, the answer is already yes. And you're going to wonder why I'm saying that. I mentioned this on yesterday's episode. If you haven't listened already, we briefly talked about Julio. We talked about what he's done so far in the month of May. But in the month of May, Julio Rodriguez has played 6 games, 24 at-bats, 27 plate appearances. He has 8 hits, 6 of those singles, 2 of those home runs, 4 runs scored, 3 RBIs, 2 walks, 1 hit by pitch, 0 strikeouts. He's hitting .333 with a .407 on base and a .583 slug. That's an OPS of 991. A WRC plus of 190. He's walking 7.5% of the time. He hasn't struck out yet. His walk to strikeout ratio is 2. It has only been 6 games. It is a very tiny sample. But to have a 6-game stretch this early where he doesn't strike out at all, and where he's hitting for some power, is really good news. He's finding his swing early, he's finding himself early, and if that continues, and if the past however many years, past 4 years, have been any sort of indicator, he's going to get even hotter than he is right now, he's going to start scorching the baseball, and he's going to start to be the guy that we think he maybe can be. On the full season so far this year, he's slashing .228, .325, .407 with a 116 WRC plus. That's good enough for 1.5 wins on Fangraphs. He has 6 home runs. He's striking out below 20% of the time currently at 19.9%. He's walking over 10% of the time. That's 10.2%. Both of those easily the best of his career. His walk to strikeout ratio, also the best of his career. His walk to strikeout ratio is 0.52. In 2022, his rookie season, it was 0.28. In 2023, it was 0.27. In 2024, it was 0.24. Julio Rodriguez is starting to find his bat, starting to find his swing, and we're only a month into the season. And to be saying that a month into the season is really good to see, because it puts him on pace to start doing some damage and start to be a big time bat in the league and a massive aircraft carrier for this potential Mariners lineup. And while they don't need an aircraft carrier per chance right now, or per se right now, you go and add a guy that can be an aircraft carrier in Julio Rodriguez, and this lineup looks a whole lot better. It looks like it has the potential to consistently be good. It makes the Mariners even more dangerous than they may already be. And it's an exciting thing to watch because he's a fun guy. He's going to draw eyes to the team. He's going to bring bodies into the ballpark. He's going to put expectations on this team that right now is playing like there are no expectations. And I'm not saying him putting those expectations is going to make it so that all of a sudden they're playing like they have those expectations, because they already did have expectations. But it's going to add expectations around the league, around the nation, and that's a different feel. That's a different feel for players, for management, for coaches, for staff, for fans, for media members, for everybody involved. That's a different feeling. But it's a good feeling to have expectations, to feel like you are a good enough team to go do damn damage. The Mariners have the potential to do that if Julio Rodriguez heats up the way he looks like he is. In terms of stats, let's get into it. Expected batting average of 257, expected slug of 487. He's underperforming both of those so far. In terms of where he's struggled, and this isn't necessarily a struggle, but he swings the 14th most in terms of percentage in baseball, 54.5% swing rate. He's 5th in end zone swing percentage. And that's not necessarily a problem because you want to swing at those pitches in the zone. You want to swing at your pitches. The problem there is too much whiff, not enough contact. He has the 13th lowest contact percentage of hitters that are qualified. He has the 6th lowest zone contact percentage. He also has a 70% first pitch strike. And I've talked about him swinging at first pitches a lot. And I can understand why he does a little bit when he's getting a lot of first pitch strikes. And often those are the best pitches of the at-bat. But sometimes your job is to see more pitches and to walk. And to see his walk percentage over 10% now is a positive sign for me. He's in the 11th percentile in chase at 35.4%. He's in the 9th in whip, or in whiff at 32.5%. Both of those need to improve. And if they do improve, like they very likely will, again, this is a guy that's going to be an aircraft carrier. He's going to be a dog at the top of your lineup. He has elite bat speed in the 93rd percentile. Currently, he's in the 75th in xWOBA, the 76th in xSlug, and the 79th in average exit velocities. He's hitting the ball hard. He's getting good expected numbers. He has above average strikeout and walk percentages. And he has the potential to improve the chase and the whiff. And if he does those two things, again, the exit velocities are only going to improve. His barrel percent is only going to improve. His xSlug is only going to improve. His xWOBA is only going to improve. His on-base percentage is only going to improve. His average is only going to improve. His slug is only going to improve. Everything is going to improve as soon as he cuts down on chase and he cuts down on whiff. As soon as he starts putting the bat to the ball and seeing his pitches, the guy's going to start doing damage. He's going to start to be a force to be reckoned with, and he's going to be a guy that is feared around the league. And that's something he hasn't been in some time now. In 2024, he is pulling the ball more than he did last year. And that's a good sign because he is much closer to the 2022 and 2023 numbers. The difference currently is he's going to the opposite field more, which is not necessarily a bad thing unless those are flares. He needs to lift the ball a little bit more. and improve his line drive percentage when he does lift the ball. In terms of in the air versus ground ball and line drive, pull straight, opposite field. In terms of those 6 stats, we're going to run through it from 2022, his rookie season and his best season, and right now in 2025. Let's start with percentage of balls in the air. Currently, Julio Rodriguez has 51% in the air, 49% on the ground. In 2022, he had 53% in the air, 46% ground ball rate. Very similar there, and that's a good thing. In my opinion, you want to be similar to what he was that year because that's when we saw him at his best. And if he can get back to that, he has the potential to do damage and to be the guy again that we think he can be. In terms of line drives versus fly balls, 2025, 27% fly ball rate, 18% line drive rate, and line drive is the biggest one. In 2022, his line drive percent was 22%. It's down 4% right now. If he can bring that up, he can hit more line drives. He's going to barrel the ball more. He's going to have higher exit velocity. He's going to be the guy that we know that he can be. In terms of where he's hitting it around the diamond, he's pulling the ball 39% of the time. That's the exact same as it was in 2022. He's going straight up the middle 35% of the time. That's down 3% from 2022. And he's going to the opposite field 3% more than he did in 2022. None of these are super big deals. You want to see him pulling the ball because that means he's going to be hitting the ball out more often than not. But he has the ability to go to the opposite field and hit for doubles and slug and hit homers out to the opposite field in any ballpark. A difference, though, is that he's pulling the ball in the air less than he did in 2022. He's hitting the ball on the ground more. He's smashing that baseball into the ground. And as soon as he stops doing that and his launch angle gets a little bit more into the air, you're going to see homers, you're going to see doubles, you're going to see base hits, you're going to see numbers start to skyrocket. His barrel percent this year is 8.9%. In 2022, it was 13. In 2023, it was 12. In 2024, it was 10. He needs to get to barrel the ball up more than he is right now. And that's going to come with him whiffing less and chasing less. Julio thus far this year has struggled intensely, severely against sinkers, sliders, and especially changeups. That has been the pitch that has caused him the most difficulty and has made it hard for him to hit lefties. His K percentage against lefties is 26% versus only 17.5% versus righties. The changeups are causing him problems. He has an 0.71 batting average, and it's the exact same slug. What's that mean? He has 0 extra base hits thus far this year. He has a 42.5% whiff against changeups, 0% hard hit, like I said. He's seen 66 pitches. That's the 4th most of any pitch he's seen, 11% of the pitches he's seen. This is similar to last year and other years of his career where he struggled against changeups. If he can start to figure out changeups a little bit better, he's going to hit lefties even better than he already is and be, again, something that opponents are going to fear, and he's going to be a thorn in their side. We know who he can be. We know that he can be that. He's shown that. And I think it'll start to even out as he cuts down on whiff, cuts down on chase, and barrels the ball up more, allowing him to get the ball in the air more and allowing his numbers to jump. Because Julio Rodriguez can be that guy we all want him to be. We know that. And so far this year, he's having a better year than he's had in any of his careers. And that is good. That's good to see. If you want WRC Plus of all of his March and Aprils, 62 in 2022, 109 in 2023, 81 in 2024, 102 so far this year. In terms of strikeout percentages, he's easily at the lowest. And walk percentages, he's easily at the highest. We'll start with walk percentages. 2022, 8.6%. 2023, 6.5%. 2024, 4.8%. 10.8% in 2025. Strikeout percent, 37, 2022, the rookie year. 27.5 in 23. 2024, it was 32%. It is down to 23% in 2025. He's not seeing the same results, however, as his batting average on balls in play is much lower. But he has more homers than he had in 2024 and 2022 combined. As soon as Julio starts to hit better, you're going to see his numbers jump up. And May has been a month where he's begun to do that each of the years. 2022, 152 WRC plus in May. 2023, 113. 2024, 104. And 2025, he's only had 6 games, but it's been 190, and he's been better, and he's barely struck out. I see a world where Julio Rodriguez has a really good month of May and then has a really good month of June. And the month of June has been a struggle for him every year except for his rookie year. So if you can see him find success in May and then find success in June, that's when we're talking about Julio Rodriguez being an absolute force and being someone that every opposing pitching staff and team is going to fear. And they're going to have to think, oh, are we going to have to intentionally walk him here to get someone else to the plate? The Mariners lineup right now is deep. It's not something you can do. So watch for Julio this weekend. Is he barreling the ball up? Is he continuing to not strike out? Is he continuing to work good at bats and walk? Is he going to pull the ball more? Is he going to hit it to the opposite field? Is the ball in the air more? Watch for those things. Because all the things I talked about are things that you can notice game to game, night to night, series to series, week to week. And they can be indicators of where Julio is at that current moment in time. That's all for today. Thank you guys so much for listening. This has been episode 66 of On the Diamond and Into the Deep. We will be back Monday to recap the weekend series against the Toronto Blue Jays. It is a big one. There will be an invasion, very likely. But until then, as always, I am Mahal. Go Mariners, and peace.